Hello and welcome back. I'm Ryan from Cycling 101, and today I wanted to take you on a book tour. I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but I've been getting a lot of requests lately from athletes, clients, young and old, who during this time have been wanting to maybe do a little bit of self-education. And a lot of them are like, oh, I really want to hone in on some of my nutrition, or others are like, oh, I really want to pick up on the strength aspect of my training, and others want to talk about supplements or research that a little bit. And others want to talk more about mobility or injury prevention. So there's a lot of broad topics that are out there. And I wanted to kind of just take a few minutes to kind of go over a little bit of the progression, I guess you can say, of how I've kind of accumulated, my own knowledge, I guess you could say, through different resources, but mainly focusing on literature, on books. So the very, very first book that I ever read to do with training was called The Complete Athlete. And The Complete Athlete was written, I believe, in like the early 90s. And it's a book that even today I still share with a number of my athletes, especially junior ones, because I really think it's important for them to understand that bigger picture of training, that it's not like, this is not like time and intensity. Really, what it is time and intensity is here, and then your skill set, technique and stuff is here, and then we have nutrition, and then we have recovery, and then we have the mental game, and then we have strength, and we have range of motion, and then flexibility, and so on and so on. And we can break it down into many different subcategories. But what The Complete Athlete does is really does a great job of kind of breaking that down. And it talks about being a 24-hour athlete. I'm not talking about the ones that go for 24 hours, but just having the mindset that you are an athlete, or you're trying to achieve your goals. And every time you are faced with a decision during that 24 hours, you make the decision that is going to be more favorable towards a positive outcome in what your end goal is. And it sounds pretty simple, but most of us, we ride the slippery slope, and sometimes we make decisions that don't fall into that category. And so we like to kind of call that like that 80-20. And so when a young athlete or even a master's level athlete that's going from being recreational and wanting to pick up their game understands that 80-20, and that every decision they make every single day allows them to inch just that little bit closer to their end goal and having success and a successful outcome, I think it's a really, really powerful book, and really good way for people to kind of start, just to understand that conceptually. Then I think from there, some of the more powerful books that I've read in the last probably kind of 5 years have been two that come to mind are Primal Endurance, really kind of talking about holistic health before fitness. Any coach can make you fit at the expense of your health, but being healthy first and foremost is definitely something that you want to do. And health isn't just about the body. I mean, we're talking about mental health, emotional health, work health, relationship health, marriage health, and physical health, obviously, and a good positive relationship with your environment. So a good positive relationship with your home, with your surroundings, where you live, in the city, in the mountains, rural, whatever. So your health is a bigger picture kind of approach, just like training should be. And so Primal Endurance really does a great job of helping folks kind of do a reset, 21 to 30 days of kind of cleaning up some of the behaviors that can lead to a healthier lifestyle. So I really like that one. It's a good jump start for a lot of master's level athletes there. Another book that I really have enjoyed in the last little bit, Alex Hutchinson, who writes for the Globe and Mail, as a guest columnist, he wrote a book called Endure. And Endure was a really good, insightful book. Lots of different areas that were touched. So a lot of the science on hydration and some of the myths and some of the new science that have come about were really, really good. That I took from that, and also on the hydration end of things, a book that I think goes kind of back to that health and hydration and wellness and curing disease and stuff. Is a book that's titled Quench, and that book is I have it on audiobook, and really enjoyed listening to the health related approach to hydration and some of the things that we incorporate into our healthy diet that we don't even know kind of really what they're about, like chia seeds and salt and electrolytes in general and that kind of stuff. So if you're in the hydration realm and looking to pick up a little bit on that, Quench is definitely a great book for that. I do have a pile of books here in front of me that I want to kind of go through. One of the books that I think has kind of been the most powerful, because it actually takes not just literature, but it takes a feeling and relieves pain, believe it or not, is a really, really powerful book by Dr. Eric Goodman and Peter Park. It's called Foundation, and I have probably recommended this book to more people than any other book that I own. And it's simply because I personally was experiencing some discomfort in my back, and read all of the anecdotal stories that kind of started off and started to understand a lot more about your core and also the posterior chain, which is all the back end, which is really needed, especially as cyclists, triathletes, runners. That posterior chain is kind of a weak link, if you will, in performance and having good mobility and spinal health and all that stuff. So really, really powerful. I actually do some of the moves from Foundation daily, just some really, really simple ones as maintenance. And then some mornings I'll wake up and have a little bit of, upper back, mid back stiffness. I can do 3 or 4 of these moves, takes under 5 minutes. And all of a sudden that spine is right back into alignment. I can, turn, and have that full range of motion through my back and spine, and you never know, and get to look cracks and creaks and stuff out. And then I feel it radiate down into the hips as well as into my legs in a positive way, where that tension will release. Everything obviously is connected. So anyways, enough about Foundation, but Peter Park, Eric Goodman, Foundation, top-notch book for those who are trying to deal with those types of issues. A more recent book that I have really enjoyed, Rocket Fuel. Matt Katie, he's an amazing author, and put this little gem together in this whole world now of sports nutrition and everything that's pre-packaged in bars and all of that stuff. So much of those products are coming with really high contents of simple sugars and all kinds of rancid oils and garbage in them. So having something like this on hand to be able to kind of create some stuff in your house, and I've really found that it's actually created more inspiration for me than anything, seeing how these different things combine, what you're using as binders to make energy balls and that kind of stuff. But Rocket Fuel, very cool book. I bought it right after listening to Matt speak on the My Back 40 podcast with Mr. Steve O'Shaughnessy, the sexiest voice in podcasting. And so, I've really, really enjoyed it. I've recommended that to a number of my athletes as well, just to give them some variety so that they don't feel like they have to be, chowing down on the Cliff Bars or whatever else is accessible to them. 2 more books I wanted to share. Let me go into this one first. So I was listening to a podcast. The name of it is has escaped me. But Dr. Mark Bubbs was a guest on this podcast, and he spoke about what I like to think of as like those 10 pillars of like health before fitness, and really spoke fluently about kind of all these aspects that we look at in sports science, and all the metrics and different things. And he really went back to the grassroots of like, we need to simplify this. We need health before fitness. If we're healthy, mentally, physically, emotionally, the performances will come. And he spoke in generalized terms for strength sports, team sports, endurance sport. And his newest book, called Peak, it's the new science of athletic performance that is revolutionizing sports, health, nutrition, recovery, and mindset. And I couldn't agree more with Mark Bubbs' approach. I've been coaching since about 2000, I guess. And this has always kind of been that approach that I've taken with my athletes, and with myself. And a lot of that kind of stemmed even from that first book I had mentioned, The Complete Athlete. And he kind of just takes it to that next level, more modern day science, and more emphasis on some of the things that we can do on a daily basis, to just be better, as human beings, just be healthier. And then kind of layering on that athletic performance, after we've achieved this base of just being healthier and just being better. So anyways, I really enjoyed this. Did it in audiobook as well as hardcover book, because as I'm listening, I like to pull out the highlighter and highlight different things. Yeah. So another book that I've just started into, once again, listening to all these different podcasts about coaches and people who are trying to help those perform better, came across Nick Winkelman on a podcast. And he has just written a book that was just released, I believe, like a month ago. So it was like one of the first copies, The Language of Coaching. And it's the art and science of teaching movement. And this, for me, is a really cool book. It's really hit home, because a lot of times as a coach or an instructor, I think this might be more for me on the instructor end. It goes about how people learn, dissecting how you present information, and what is the cycle of learning, and when can we expect to see progress? When do we add in cues? Being concise with the words that you use when you're coaching or instructing. And a lot of this stuff is really hitting home. I've just cracked it. I'm maybe 30 pages in, but it's taken me like a week to do that, because it is just so detailed, and you want all of this to just come in. But this I think is a book that would come obviously later to a lot of folks, or maybe if you are like a coach or instructor looking to maybe give context to how you coach and how you instruct, this could be really powerful. I know for me, what it did was it gave me context of how I look at an athlete, what they're doing on the bicycle, how they're pedaling, how they're moving, and gave me some powerful tools to understand how it is I'm able to dissect what they're doing as a skill, or even just something as simple as bike fitting, which I do quite often. So yeah, it's almost like, I was, the cart was before the horse before, and now the horse is in front of the cart, kind of thing. Like he's putting words, very powerful words, and examples of how we need to coach and instruct for maximum success with different types of athletes and individuals, and how we can identify how they learn and uptake information, and what that feedback loop looks like. So anyways, I'll probably do a whole video at some point on just that, because I think it's super powerful.